In this video, we're going to break down a pretty simple strategy that uses two indicators, and we'll try to grow my balance from $500, say, up to $1,500 or maybe even $2,000. In other words, to increase my balance by 3 or even 4 times. Let's see how well I can pull this off. The strategy is actually pretty good. It's a signature one from our managers. In this video, I'll show you how to use these indicators, which entry points to take, which ones to skip, and basically give you the full manual on how to work with this strategy. So let's get into the video. Look, we actually have 4 different ways we can approach this. First, we'll look at an example of how to trade from the middle line. Alright, so in the Bollinger Bands indicator, we have 3 lines, the upper, the middle, and the lower one. Accordingly, we can trade from any of these 3 lines, but only using the CCI indicator. If you see at the moment that the price, for example like here, is approaching the middle moving average from below, and at the same time the CCI is within the working range, then we open a 1-minute trade to sell, only in this case. If the CCI is above 100 or below 100, we do not open our trade. That is, we only trade on the rebound if the CCI is within the working range. If one of the conditions is not met, if the price comes, for example, in some other way, then we also do not open our trade. So once again, let's look at what happened here. Here we have a downward movement. The price is in the lower channel. So once again, we only trade on the rebound from the middle line in the direction of the trend. That is, right now, it's a downward movement. The price is in a downward channel. In the lower channel, it comes from below up to the middle line, and accordingly, that's where we enter the trade. But taking into account that our CCI indicator is in the middle zone, in the working range, everything lined up. And that's when I open my sell trade. Alright, let's look at another example. And this time, I want to open a trade for $500. It's the same situation on the euro to Swiss franc currency pair. What's happening here? We're seeing a downward movement. The CCI indicator is in the working range. The price is coming up to the middle line from below. So from here, I open a sell trade for 1 minute. So this works both ways, right? Just look for these kinds of situations during an upward movement. Look, here they are right here. Here's 1 entry point, 2 entry points, 3 entry points. When your CCI indicator is in the normal working range and the price, during an upward movement, comes down to the middle line, that's when you can open buy trades. But for now, let's finish watching the example, which is again for a sell trade. So this works for both buying and selling. For 1 minute, using 15-second candles, all of this works really well. So the most important thing with this strategy is to practice a bit, and then you'll be able to read all these situations on the market. Great profit. The second trade is also a winner. That's already $1,180. And let's take a risk with the next trade and open it for $750. And at the same time, let's see how to work from the upper and lower boundaries, since there are some interesting points there too. I also want to say that this strategy only works with the right settings, because our team specifically set everything up so that we have the safest entry points with these 2 indicators that we have on the Pocket Option platform. Accordingly, to get these settings, you need to go to our Telegram channel, and under the post with this video, you'll find the settings for these 2 indicators. So go to the Telegram channel using the link in the description. By the way, there, besides this strategy, you'll also find a lot of ready-made strategies that will bring you profit. So follow the link in the description, grab these 2 indicators, these 2 settings, and accordingly, you can use them and get the same kind of profit. Now, let's talk about how to work with the upper and lower boundaries of this indicator. Look, Australian dollar, Swiss franc. Yes, the payout is small, but it's a very good example. What's happening? The price is touching the upper boundary. From the upper and lower boundaries, we only trade on the bounce, right? And if we needed to determine at the middle line whether the price came from above or below, here it doesn't matter. We only trade in the opposite direction. That is, from the upper boundary we open trades down, and from the lower boundary we open trades up. So, the price reaches the upper boundary. I look at the CCI values, and they are outside our working range, and that's actually a big advantage. In other words, for trades that we open from the upper or lower boundary, it's actually beneficial for us if the CCI indicator values are outside our working range, meaning above 100 or below minus 100. That will be a big plus. There are actually different types of these trades, safe and unsafe. The example just now was an unsafe trade. Yeah, strange as it may seem. So look, what actually makes it safe? The safest trades are the ones we open with you during a trend. So, if we have a good upward movement, then all our trades should be open from these lines. The price comes to the lower boundary, and we open trades with the trend. That will be safe. And if, in addition, the CCI goes above or below at that moment, it will be very safe. If you see, at the moment, that it's going like it is now, right? An upward movement. But at the same time, the price impulsively shoots up somewhere, and the CCI is in overbought territory, right? That is, above the value of 100, then that's also a safe trade, but only for selling. Not as safe as trading with the trend. So here, I did open a trade against the trend, but still, I made a profit on it. So once again, If you have a downward movement, then the safest trades will be open from the middle line. When the price comes up from below to the middle line, or from the upper line, those will be the safest trades, right? If, in addition, from the middle boundary your CCI is within the range, that's safe. If your price has reached the outer boundary and your CCI is somewhere at the top, then that will also be a very safe trade. These are the two types of the safest trades. All the others are not as safe, but nevertheless, they also work. So, if you see at the moment that your price, for example, is making this kind of impulse and, accordingly, the CCI is somewhere at the bottom, then you can really enter for 1 minute. But just look, there was one profitable trade here. Here too, we could have even made a profit. Here, most likely, we would have lost money. But again, we look at the CCI and it wasn't below -100. So the most important thing in this strategy is to practice and remember what is what. Yes, I managed to make $1,500 from just 500 in literally a few trades with these two simple indicators. The most important thing is to set them up correctly. And really, there is one small downside to this strategy. There are very few entry points. And honestly, I went through all the currency pairs over and over again until I found suitable options, so keep practicing. Once again, I remind you that you can get the settings for these two indicators via the link in the description in our Telegram channel, so go there and grab the ready-made settings. If you have any questions or issues, just write to our support account. Our team will be happy to help you and answer all your questions. In short, I'm leaving all the links in the description. Use this strategy. It really does bring profit. See you soon.